Hello, forefathers, one and all. This is Jimmy Cultist, back again with another logic video. Today we're going to be covering how to control two characters simultaneously, or separately, depending on how you want to do it, but basically simultaneously. We're going to need two puppets. Gonna delete these. Now in every controller sensor there is this feature. We're gonna go ahead and delete circle because we won't be needing that in depossession. This feature is called remote controllable. Alternatively, if you wanted to have two-player co-op, you could just set one of these, off if you want it to be player 2, or you could set it to player 1. That's a thing you could do. But we're going to be talking about controlling two players simultaneously. So let's go ahead and go in here and just do the same process again. Remote controllable. This means you can control them from anywhere in the scene, so long as your, input is not shut off. For instance, if you have a camera, there's a controller sensor, you can shut off controllable sensors using the camera. We will actually be needing a camera because it's a bit hard to control two puppets with separate perspective. You could probably do it like a swap feature. I guess, yeah, maybe we'll try that. Let's give it a try. And if it doesn't work, then we'll do it the other way. Of course, yeah, it won't work because this is to control two puppets simultaneously anyway. It's not to control them separately. We'll talk about swapping some other time. I think a top-down, sort of isometric perspective is probably a good way to go. Hide imps, do not turn off this, because you'll want that on. And basically all you've got to do is you can set up a third controller sensor. Act as the players. If you wanted, you could have it on a separate thing. I don't know if I would advise having it. I would put it on a piece of material, a sculpt. And the reason why is if you feel like moving it, it's a lot easier to have something like this just hanging about, invisible in the scene, or if you wanted to follow with the players or do whatever, it depends on what you want to add later, but it's always good to have them on something that you can easily move. You can move chips, but there's some sometimes there's some trajectory issues with that. Anyway, we're going to put this on remote controller, and basically all this is going to do at the end of the day is allow us to shut off the inputs for one of these puppets. Don't forget to set it to keyframe mode, set it to the beginning of the timeline, and power off. So we're going to call this one off. So we're going to take this one and go over to player 2, turn off its puppet interface, and you might actually want to turn off the controller sensor itself. In this case, I'm only controlling movement, but if you want to shut off the ability to use certain moves, I might just shut off the whole controller sensor, So keep that in mind. Turn off the controller sensor if you have sword moves or anything else, because you don't want the player able to activate that input. 2 off. This just shuts down the ability to jump, move left and right, and that sort of thing. Alrighty. And we'll just make it so, what would be an easy button to control them with? It'll say L1 and R1. So basically when you press that, might display it just to make it easy to remember. So he's left, or no, he is left. And this fellow over here is right. Now, without pressing either of those buttons, I might make those bigger so they'll be visible. If you're not pressing either L1 or R1 to limit the puppet's movement, they will actually move simultaneously to each other. Using the remote control method is also a good way to... Oh, by the way, it's kind of hard to see our players, so what we might want to do is... there are two things. We could lower the opacity. It's probably a good idea. Or we could put it at their feet. I think I'll lower the opacity. But yeah, if you press L1, that stops your friend. Actually, it's R1. R1 stops your friend. L1 stops you, and this is a way that you could do simultaneously, simultaneous control, and you can both move at the same time if you want to, but this allows you to reposition, because sometimes you'll get out of sync if one of you gets caught on a wall or whatever, that's the sort of thing. This is a good way, though, to mirror enemies using the remote control system, like if you wanted an enemy if you wanted to have a puzzle where he mirrors your own movements. That's an easy way to do it. Hopefully you'll find this useful if you're happen to be making a game like this, or maybe it'll give you inspiration. I think it's an interesting idea. I haven't toyed around with it much, but it could be potentially useful, and having a two-player function would also be neat, solving puzzles together in the same room, that might be kind of cool. But that's pretty much it for now. Here are the names of all of our lovely cult supporters. Many thanks to all of you. If you'd like to get your name in those credits, check the link in the description and head over to our Ko-fi. You can become a cultist neophyte to become credited at the end of our video, or you can become an acolyte to gain early access to videos in addition to credit. Now, if you aren't in the mood for membership, you can always leave a one-time tip. If you enjoyed this video and are not already subscribed, consider hitting the subscribe button down below. And maybe give us a quick like, both options are free. Also, don't forget to ring the notification bell so you will always be notified when new videos come out. If you have any thoughts, questions, or suggestions, leave them in the comment section. Or if you just want to let out your pent-up rage, give us some smack talk. Until next time, goodbye.